This week, we're diving into the book Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. This is one of the most renowned books globally since 2016, considered incredibly valuable because it was written by a young scholar, born in 1976, who managed to synthesize knowledge from history, anthropology, and evolutionary biology to condense the entire history of humanity into this fascinating book. What will you gain from reading this book? You'll acquire a grand foundation to understand the direction and principles of human development. Alongside this, the author's captivating storytelling, interwoven with multifaceted knowledge, will gradually help us understand our own origins. And this book isn't dry like other history books. In many countries, it has become a popular read for teenagers. If you haven't read it, you definitely should. If you have, let's revisit and deepen our understanding of its insights together today. This book revolves around three major stories. The first is the cognitive revolution. This revolution transformed humans from apes into the dominant species on Earth. The second is the agricultural revolution, which turned groups of hunters into empires, allowing people to develop commerce and trade, eventually forming diverse civilizations. Finally, the third story is the scientific revolution, This revolution brought about a sudden change in the world. The entire agricultural society disintegrated, and the world transformed into the structure we know today. Now, let's explore each story. First, the story of humankind began 6 million years ago when a mother ape gave birth to two infant apes. One evolved into a chimpanzee, the other was the ancestor of us, humankind. Then, 2 million years ago, a large number of people from various human species appeared. You can vividly imagine this if you've seen The Lord of the Rings *, which features many different human-like species such as long-limbed people, dwarves, giants, and so on. These ideas are actually based on scientific grounds. Today, we've found at least several species of humans from 2 million years ago. They were all close relatives of us. Our species is called Homo sapiens or wise man. There were many other human species, such as the tall and robust Neanderthals, the upright Homo erectus or Homo floresiensis, nicknamed hobbits, who were only about 1 meter tall and lived for about 25 years. 200,000 years ago, there were many human species on Earth. We shouldn't underestimate the existence of these species, as they survived on Earth for at least 2 million years. Whether our Homo sapiens can survive for 2 million years is still uncertain. However, a question arises. Why did these other human species gradually disappear permanently from Earth with the advent of Homo sapiens? You need to understand that back then, humans were an entirely vulnerable creature on Earth. We didn't have sharp teeth, couldn't fly, or run and jump like a leopard. When a deer was attacked and killed by a tiger, the tiger would eat its fill first, then came the jackals. After the jackals, the vultures would pick at the meat. Eventually, they would leave only empty bones for humans. Faced with hunger, what could humans do? We could only use stones to smash bones and eat the marrow inside. That was a tragic life for our ancestors. At that time, humans only knew how to use stones. They were completely unable to defeat stronger species. We were even hunted by other animals. Simply put, we were just a small ape species on Earth. Furthermore, our human bodies didn't have an advantage in our upper limbs. Gradually, as we learned to walk upright, another major problem arose. The human pelvis narrowed, leading to a high risk during childbirth. If the baby's size in the womb was too large, the mother could die. Therefore, at that time, most human births were premature. After birth, it took us up to 3 years to raise a child before they could walk, run, and jump independently. In contrast, other animals like horses and cows could walk on their own just a few hours after birth. So when did the change begin? It was about 300,000 years ago. Someone, perhaps by accident, learned how to use fire. Humans started burning forests, everything was scorched, and other animals had to flee. After that, early humans began using fire to cook food. You need to understand that this was a tremendous advancement for humanity. Apes and big cats eat raw meat, so they need many hours to digest, about 6 hours before they can eat another meal. For these animals, their lives basically consisted of eating, sleeping, and then hunting. But when humans learned to cook food, our digestion time was reduced to about an hour. What did humans do with the remaining time? Naturally, we began to ponder and invent tools. This led to a significantly higher brain development in humans compared to other animals. However, brain development wasn't the root cause of the rise of Homo sapiens because some species had larger brain capacities than Homo sapiens . So, what distinguished Homo sapiens from other human species? This story takes place about 70,000 years ago, possibly due to a genetic mutation. Why possibly? Because the author admits that to this day, we haven't found evidence for this conclusion, so we can only say it's a possibility. This genetic mutation was the development of language. Monkeys, apes, parrots, or dolphins, they all have their own languages. For example, ethologists recorded a conversation between monkeys playing in the forest when suddenly they looked up at the sky and prepared to run. It turned out they were signaling to each other that an eagle was coming. However, the language of these species is utterly no match for the language of Homo sapiens because Homo sapiens could use language to describe things not present before their eyes. For example, humans could use language to mobilize dozens of people to hunt cattle. Group A might say, "Yesterday, I saw a herd of cattle in the valley. Shall we go hunt them together today? You guys on the mountain, and we'll be at the foot of the mountain." Group B would then ask, "If we go, what will we get?" Group A would reply, "We'll share half with you." Group B, "All right." Thus, only with a complex language could invisible or future events be described, and only then could such a large force of people be mobilized to work together. This ability allowed all Homo sapiens to unite at once. And because of this, wherever humans went, they brought misfortune and catastrophe. At that time, humans had annihilated all dominant creatures on Earth. That's also why our cousin species, our relatives, disappeared from Earth. Of course, we cannot be entirely certain that Homo sapiens was solely responsible for their destruction, as natural disasters or floods could also have played a role. However, there's one undeniable pattern. Wherever Homo sapiens arrived, the human species living there would disappear. And this is truly a crime of humanity. Homo sapiens first appeared in East Africa, which is our common homeland. From there, Homo sapiens learned to cross seas to reach Australia and Asia. Their productivity at that time was truly powerful, wasn't it? Wherever they went, they left behind totems, monumental architecture, and giant artworks. Research suggests that these massive works required the mobilization of hundreds, even thousands of people, not just a few dozen. So, how could they mobilize such immense power? You need to note that a central contribution of this book is telling us that Homo sapiens didn't just use the influence of language, they also possessed imagination. If language were only used for cooperation and sharing meat or other provisions, that bond would not last long, because uneven distribution would lead to conflict and the world would become chaotic. But when humans began to imagine, they fabricated gods. You know, early humans didn't survive easily. They trembled before menacing, meat-eating tigers. So, when everyone believed in a common god, we could all share the belief that someone would protect us, and this would bring us together in an organized society based on fiction. This is one of humanity's greatest inventions. This imaginative fiction has persisted in humanity to this day. Take a modern example. A company is also a fictional institution created by human imagination. Normally, if you ask what a company is, you might think of it as a concept like, a company is the association of two or more individuals or legal entities through a legal event. But in reality, a company's existence doesn't depend on its assets or its legal representatives. Because if the company's assets are lost, the company can still exist. If the legal representative is replaced, the company still exists. This institution endures because it is constructed by belief stemming from human imagination. People believe that the company will provide them with security. Only when people no longer believe in the company will this fiction disappear. Therefore, fundamentally, one of the most important differences between humans and animals lies in cognition, that is, when we humans began to imagine and build things for ourselves that we believed in, even though they didn't truly exist. and these things would amplify power to an unprecedented degree. The author says that humans committed terrible crimes. Wherever humanity went, it annihilated other human species and large animals there. The biggest tragedy was in Australia. In just a few thousand years, 23 out of 24 animals weighing over 50 kg at that time were tragically driven to extinction, and many smaller species were also wiped out. Animals like kangaroos 2 meters tall and weighing about 200 kg, marsupial lions the size of today's tigers, cute tree-dwelling giant wombats, flightless birds twice the size of ostriches, snakes and lizards 5 meters long, and so on. The dominant animals of Australia at the time vanished permanently from Earth. In the Americas, things were equally terrifying. About 14,000 years ago, America already had more species than it does today. Large rodents, bears, herds of horses, camels, giant lions, and dozens of other giant species. Within less than 2,000 years of Homo sapiens arrival, all these unique species were brutally slaughtered. You need to note that they all survived the Ice Age. Even if the Ice Age recurred 5 or 6 times, they still survived. But when Homo sapiens came to dominate the planet, all large species that threatened humans permanently disappeared from this earth. They were eaten, burned. The wrath of humans was far more powerful than floods and wild beasts. So what was human life like back then? According to statistics, early Homo sapiens primarily lived by hunting and gathering. They typically worked about 30 to 40 hours a week, meaning a few hours a day was sufficient, and they didn't have to worry about food. Frankly, they lived quite long lives. Although infant mortality rates were high, ordinary people had long lifespans. Fossil evidence shows that ancient people who foraged rarely suffered from hunger or malnutrition. They were taller and healthier than people during the later agricultural revolution. Back then, meat was abundant and, one could say, plentiful. However, sweet foods were difficult for them to consume. Humans could only eat sweet foods from ripe fruits on trees, but when a tree full of fruit was found, it couldn't be carried or stored. So the only way was to eat, eating until full, even until vomiting. Therefore, this gene influences us to this day. Many people still cannot resist sweet foods. Eating one piece means continuing to eat and eat more. This is the inherent nature of early humans. Here, the first stage of the cognitive revolution concludes with Homo sapiens having eliminated other human species and animal species, becoming the dominant animal on Earth. We became the most powerful species in the world. Next, as we enter the agricultural revolution, a very important advancement in human history. From then until now, humans have always been connected to agriculture. In the agricultural revolution, we no longer had to chase prey all day, stalking and brutally killing them. We began to be able to raise them and cultivate wheat. We could produce our own food. So, would we be happier during the agricultural revolution? Due to time constraints this week, please look forward to the next part of this book's content in our next video.